Okay, huge apologies for all the technical problems I've been having with my streaming recently. It's just, I think my computer's just crying for an upgrade. Like, it's really needing it. Thankfully, with all the donations and all the stuff that I've been having recently, it's slowly going to progress to that actually happening. But uh, I've updated the connection to Seribots. I don't get why all these problems are happening. But anyway, it is it is what it is. Because ultimately it's just it's just what it is. Actually, come to think of it, I think like Mercury retrograde's happening pretty soon if I remember the calendar correctly. But anyway, um if anybody's still down for a reading, I am open to one now. So the queue's open at this point. So if anybody wants to have a reading, I am all ears. So yeah, if anybody wants to tune in, I'm here. Okay. All right, so we got one person online. So welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being so patient with everything that's been going on. It's just been so rough. Again, to my YouTube peeps. This is what I've been doing every Saturday in case those who haven't been able to tune in. Usually I do like a bit of a pregame first, but because I've been hanging out with my family, I haven't been able to do that recently, but it will start those will still start back starting next Saturday. So keep an eye out for some of those gaming streams. I do like a pregame stream and then we'll transition to this afterwards. Clearly I need to back up my computer as well as like do an upgrade really badly. So again, thank you so much for your patience. So a little earlier we did my spread for the wheel of the year for my year of 2016. So, 2016, 2026. Good God. Um, and yeah, clearly I got a lot to think about pulling this. Um, but yeah, I think at this point now I'm pretty much ready to ready to start doing readings for everyone else. Actually, there's one thing I could end with, which is with my reading, which is like what I wanted to do before I had to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to for myself for a song by the illustrious royalty, Her Majesty herself, Queen Herbie. Shout out to Shabala for constantly these cards. I think I told you this guy's story. I actually got to work with Shabala um, around April last year, and she actually did ask me like um, what Queen Herbie songs were speaking to me in the moment, and the ones that spoke to me in the moment were R.I.P. and what was the other one? I wrote it down. Hold on. My computer will behave. Just a moment. I know RIP was one of them. The other one was. Oh my god. Hello, Shiva Lim. Welcome to the stream. We are having a card reading Saturday. Typically, it is a Twitch exclusive, but you are welcome to ask a question. A cash feelings? Can you get a bit more specific, Shiva? Is there a particular question you want me to you want me to answer? Okay, that's not making any sense. Um, oh, it's a romance question. Relationship guidance. Got it. Okay. I can't predict what he thinks about you, but what I can tell you is some insights as to how to navigate said relationship. So, long distance, complicated. Got it. Okay. So that I can work with at least. So, um, so for those who want me to do a relationship reading, I probably should really state this in the beginning. Um, if you are already seeing this person, that's a little bit easier for me to work with. If it's a if it's a hypothetical relationship, I can't really predict how. I'm not really a predictive reader per se, um, so I can't predict whether or not like somebody likes you or not, or whether they think of you like that in that way or not. But I can tell you how to make it easier for you to achieve a relationship, or how to make the relationship that you have existing better. And yeah, of course, no problem. So what Shiva Lim is asking, I can do this one because at least you two are actually together, even if it's not in the same vicinity, so to speak. So, um, so yeah, and kind of hilarious that I pulled. So the song I pulled for myself is Nah. So I know you love that drama, but I don't feed. Pretty straightforward. It's pretty self-explanatory. But anyway, let me help Shiva Lim 11 about your relationship question. If I can get my correct shot here. Yep, there we go. Okay. So I got a few spreads for you. Okay, so the fondness is there, and you're just in a long distance relationship. So it's just figuring out the dynamics at this point, right? So I do have a compatibility spread that could answer that. So it's a 7 card spread, and it kind of goes like this: 4 and then 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, I got you. So it's going to be a 7 card spread. I'm going to use a tarot for this one. And let's see, what Shiva Lim can you please tell me? And this person's love interest. Any advice you want them to know. But yeah, it's true. Runcible Spoonie has been in an LDR for 4 years. Um, they are on Twitch right now though. Shiva Lim's on YouTube, so might be a little tricky. But yeah, Shiva Lim, if you happen to have Twitch, Runcible Spoonie is a good person to message. I know Runcible Spoonie personally, so I can attest to this. Also, pardon me for the little bit of the musical silence here. My computer just did not want to behave. It really does not like you right now. So hopefully with the upgrade, I did have to drop the frames back down to 30 frames, so hopefully it doesn't look too bad. Because my encoder was getting overloaded at 45, which is kind of ridiculous. It only was like I only increased it by like 10, and it just was like, eh. Encoder overloaded again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. My video is like disconnecting, reconnecting. Like every few seconds, it just keeps on changing. Okay. Okay. Hopefully it stays stable. I dropped the frames. I don't know why it keeps being like it disconnects, then reconnects, then disconnects, then reconnects. I don't know why it's happening. I did end up having to take off the camera, unfortunately, in order to make sure this was stable. So, no visuals. I've also closed down pretty much all my apps except OBS. Clearly, there's something wrong with my computer. So, I'm going to have to just show you from here. Okay. So, not my finest hour, I will say. I've turned down the video. What else can I do? What else can I do? Do I have to turn off this camera now? Is that what I'm going to have to do? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, stay tuned, y'all. In case I get cut off again, I will come back, okay? Please be sure, please be sure. I'm going to do my best. My computer is really testing me now, and I really need to get an upgrade. It is kind of getting up there in years. Like, this was made in 2020. So this computer's like 6 years. This thing's gotten me through grad school, um, some college. It's gotten me through a lot of occasions and a lot of live streams. And I think it's coming to that time where I need to actually consider upgrading. Which is gonna be hard because I love this computer. That's getting up there. Okay. I mean, it's kind of weird pulling in silence, even though I do pull in silence when I'm at home sometimes. Excuse me. Let me pull up some music here. Because it just feels weird. Okay. Alright, there we go. Oh, I don't know how much it's gonna pull up here, but we'll get some. Okay. Thank you, Shiva Lim. Thank you for subscribing. So, I'm picking up some cards for you. Okay, clearly my noise canceling works a little too well, so you're not going to be able to hear the music in the background. I apologize. But if you want to put on some for yourselves, it's the Space Jazz playlist from Chill Hop Essentials, the raccoon, um, what you saw in the other section. Anyway. Ah, yeah. Thank you so much, you guys, for being so patient, because I know technical difficulties are not very well tolerated. So, okay. So I just pulled them. So it's a 7 card spread. Um the top two are about like wants in the relationship. The bottom two are about differences and similarities. And then the middle is about emotions, um physical and mental compatibility. So, for Shiva Lim, here's a relationship compatibility spread for you. Okay. So the first one is about your wants in the relationship. And we've got the 8 of Cups right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Get a little better shot here. I know this is not the greatest, but considering all the issues I've been having recently, this is the best I can do for now. So the 8 of Cups, it's a desire for more depth, a desire for a deeper connection, and I think for some answers as to where you and this person stand. So that's the vibe I'm getting from that card. And then the second card about what their wants for the relationship are. Let's pull that up. We got the Lovers. So this is a major card in tarot, and lovers. I mean, obviously, this is talking about a romantic relationship here. But from what I'm getting from this, obviously, please ask your partner when you can, if you feel comfortable, of course. But from what I'm seeing so far, there is a similar desire for a connection. For union. Lovers can often imply a possibility of marriage if you're into that. But there's very much a passion for what I can see from this other person, and it's very major. It's very central in their lives. It's not just a trifling thing, it's very much something that is very important to them. So clearly there is a connection there. So it's something you definitely would want to keep going, if you can, if you got the sustenance to, because clearly there's something there. There's something there, and I think both of you are clearly on the same page from what I can see from this. So the next card that I've got is about differences, where you two might be diverging a little bit, where there might be some differences, some unique, a little bit of a split. And we've got, interesting, the 2 of Cups. So there might not be that much difference. I think it's just more so about the expression of how your differences are. Because clearly there's a focus on harmony. Maybe how you see the harmony occurring might be different, or how you express it might be different. And I think especially when you're long distance, the language that you share might, like how you find security in how you're connected, might be a little bit different. So, I mean, obviously with long distance, for someone especially who finds more connection with proximity, it's very difficult because that proximity is not really there, like, or with contact or touch, but maybe a tangible object like a necklace, or a poem, or a favorite book, or just an activity, can make it a little easier to do that. But yeah, 2 of Cups is about the bringing together of opposites. Maybe where you're finding a divergence is how to bring together said opposites. In this case, there's a literal separation going on with long distance. So trying to bridge the gap within said distance can be rather difficult. But there are methods that can be done. Like again, like having a shared object or um, a shared activity, like a same book or the same movie, and at least have something to discuss about or an opinion. That does make it a little bit start to make it a little bit easier. It's not perfect because you two are separate, obviously. Okay, let me pull this up 1 second. Used to live very close frame with my ex's place. We used to make each other's favorite foods a lot. Yeah, favorite foods is another. That's another good one. Yeah. Back when I dated someone, we were also in a long distance. Not as long as like a country per se. But we would watch movies together. Mm, yeah. Yeah, that does make a good point. And it's kind of funny that like I mean, initially when I was going out with this person, they might be on here, but originally I wasn't really into Celtic history at first, but then we kind of talked about things like Scottish Gaelic and Irish and stuff, and we even saw Celtic Woman together. And now I'm actually thinking about going to Scotland and Ireland for Celtic festivals, which is kind of interesting because that was not really my first foray per se. Back when I was dating him, so something you get some things out of it, and then but then of course there are people who manage to stay together even through that, as well. And from what I'm seeing so far, there really is a lot of harmony between you already. And I think it's just trying to find ways to maintain that connection. That's the biggest division I'm seeing so far. So let me see how the rest of it goes, and we'll go from there. But so far, everything's saying that like you two are meant to be together, or at least like there's a lot of things that are bringing you two together. Aww. Likes your banters a lot. Yeah, being able to talk is the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing that makes a huge difference. Definitely. Um, So let me see. Similarities. Let's see what we got here. Hmm. Five of Swords. I rarely pull this one. Yeah, Five of Swords. I rarely pull this one, but let me see what this one means. If I can get my manual here. So the swords are about logic, and usually it's cutting away at the BS to get to the truth. And it's kind of like a victory at what cost card in a way. Because like the narrative of the swords is rather it's rather blunt, so to speak, even though it's swords are sharp. Um, huh. It's interesting because it feels like like these cards, like the Two of Cups and the Five of Swords, should be in opposite positions. Um, hmm. Best way I can interpret it is with the Five of Swords, they're often it feels like you have to kind of defend your claim, especially if it feels like the world is against you, so to speak, or there's like a conflict of interests. In this case more so it's more so like with like you and your partner, it's kind of an us against the world kind of deal. And so you kind of have to work together you're working together to make sure that whatever pressure the world puts on you, that you don't let it get to your relationship. Like that's the vibe I'm getting with this. um the conflict doesn't seem to be internal to me, it feels more external going inward, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. But yeah, the conflict seems to be more in terms of how to express within this divide, and the division feels more external, rather than internal. Of course, if there have been some internal disputes, I mean, obviously you're here asking the question, so there could be possible internal stuff, but the implication I'm getting from this so far is like you two both have the same interests. you two really want to come together. It's just how to come together is the tricky part. And what I'm feeling is you're trying to protect your relationship against um oh, very much against norms. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It just feels like there's like a protection. It's more like like you're trying to protect each other's stake in the relationship against what people expect, or more so specifically what the world expects you to do. Because LDRs, more often than not, they tend to look at a lot of the adages tend to talk about the LDRs not lasting, and trying to prove that adage wrong. It's hard, but it can be done. I mean, my parents were LDR um, for a little while before eventually they got married, and then they got separated because, like, well, one parent came over here, and then it took about 2 years for the other parent to be able to arrive. Um, there's even some YouTubers who have been in LDRs for about 2 years as well before eventually coming together. It really does vary, but I think it can be done with some faith, trial and error, and I mean, Runcible Spoonie and I, we know each other personally. There is some systemic navigation you have to go through as well, which is difficult, but I think it can be done. It definitely can be done. And I think love, like, there are some things that love can conquer, in my opinion. I mean, I haven't experienced it, unfortunately. I haven't experienced it yet, but there's something that I think it can, like, there are some things that I think love can conquer. And distance is definitely one of them, I think. Anyway, we got the last three cards here about emotional, physical, and mental compatibility. So for emotional compatibility, let's see what we got here. We got the High Priestess. Very much perfect for a long distance relationship. So the High Priestess, um, she's like a bridge. She is in between worlds, um, between the ordinary and the sacred, um, the material and the spiritual realms. And she brings the wisdom between the both of them and bridges it in a way that is easy enough to understand. And yeah. I mean, so far from what I'm seeing, I think it's totally possible that you can get through this from what I'm seeing here. Because the High Priestess is about a bridge, a connection, a balance between forces, a balance between opposites, playing with the forces of nature and discovering the knowledge and mysteries between all these things. And in terms of emotional compatibility, I think the thing that will make it easier for you to conquer this challenge is to be able to navigate the tougher questions. Um, like the things that you've been like the things that keep you awake at night. Maybe talk about those things. Um, express things honestly and figure out how to navigate certain scenarios, etc. Maybe talk about things in terms of your aspects of, like, your work, for example. Um, who's willing to sacrifice what? What are you willing to sacrifice or change? Um, ask those important questions because there might be more flexibility than you expect. So, physical compatibility. Let's see what we got with this one. The sun. That's a really good sign. That's a really good sign there. Because the sun, it's about joy, it's about happiness. Um It's about enlightenment. It's just this zest for life. So when you're together in person, I mean, that's what I'm getting. You just bring out the best in each other. Like you shine. You shine and you bask in each other's radiance. Rebellion. Hmm. I mean, considering the Five of Swords, it might be on his mind. Again, unfortunately, I can't really predict what he thinks per se, but this is just basically what I'm pulling here is basically the impressions of what I'm getting. And everything that I'm seeing so far seems to indicate there is a genuine connection that needs to be kindled and bridged. And everything's saying so far that there is a connection here. And what you need to do is, I mean, this is what I'm getting here. Please take these with a grain of salt because I have my own biases, I have my own experiences. Romance is not exactly my strongest avenue per se, but the biggest thing that I'm getting off of this is don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. Be honest with each other because it's pretty clear you two want the same thing. It's just how you're expressing it may be completely different. And so for both of you, it's time for you to start taking leaps of faith and again, ask the hard questions. Ask how you navigate certain things. Ask how you do certain things. And allow yourselves to get to know each other and learn from each other. What are skills that you would like to teach your partner, and what would you like to learn from your partner, etc. That's what I'm getting so far. It's very much this learning curve, especially if you have a significant distance. It's very much a learning curve of how to navigate a circumstance as difficult as not being able to see each other easily on the weekends as you would like, like that, so to speak. um, Time differences, etc. So last one we got here. Mental, not comparison, compatibility. Um, we've got the Ten of Cups. Everything's showing this relationship works. This spiritually, it's what I'm getting. Like the whole thing is saying to me, this relationship works. You just need to find a way to navigate it. Because Ten of Cups, it's the happy ending card. It's the wish granted card. This is like happy family, happy relationship. It's like the HEA, the happily ever after card. Like it's right there. Like that's what I'm seeing here. It's like the peace and the happiness between the both of you. It's right there. Like you two are very compatible. It's a marriage of minds. It's a marriage of presence. It's a marriage of emotions. And I'm feeling what you need to allow yourself to do is allow yourself to again be really honest about where you're at and see how you can help each other. Um Even if you can't necessarily physically be there at this moment. I think having an item or a shared activity might be a good place to start. That's what I'm gleaning from. Just having something shared is a good place to start because then you two will have something to talk about, and then that talking will eventually lead to something deeper, and then eventually, once you two have the funds to reunite, whether one comes to the other's place or you meet in the middle somewhere else for a vacation or something, you're ready. You're there. I mean, thankfully, in this era, we don't have to worry about phone cards as much or whether or not we have the right mobile network to keep in touch. We got social media that covers that need already. And so it's more so it's more so the in-person coming together. That's the part that's the part that starts to get difficult. But I feel like compared to back when we were children or even when we were teenagers, it's so much easier. It's so much easier to keep in touch with people nowadays compared to back in back when we were back when we were children. Anytime. I mean, I'm seeing so many beautiful things for you. Um Um, and so I also pulled a song for you from this artist named Queen Herbie. She's somebody that I've listened to for a few years now. And I pulled the song Sade in the 90s. It's actually the song that actually started making her a hit. It's a really good one. The line says, I'm allergic to the BS. But yeah, it's true. Like, allow yourself to go with the flow and enjoy life. Like, enjoy this life you have with your partner. Like, even if they're not in it right now physically, you can still enjoy your lives, even when separated. So, remember the small joys and don't be afraid to share them. So that's what I got for you, Shiva Lim. Um, I hope that helps you. And I wish you all the best in your relationship. I mean, from what I'm seeing, the foundations look really, really, really solid. So I say keep going with it. Of course, use your discernment. Pay attention to what you need. And I wish you all the best. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for subscribing too. I really appreciate it. So, I typically do this on Twitch, but I might open it up to YouTube more with like new and full moons and stuff because I mean, I think that's like what people tend to tune in for as well. And I also do gaming content as well, so you might see notifications for that sometimes. So please feel free to tune in anytime you happen to see me streaming on here. Yeah, again, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So glad I was able to help. So yeah, anybody else got a question for me? I am all ears. Well, in this case, all eyes. uh, but yeah, glad to help. Aw, thank you. Okay, check the queue. All right, let me jump on the queue here. Queue's empty. Okay, if you want to join the queue, by the way, all you need to do is type the exclamation point and then Discord queue. Okay, gotta be more specific, my friend. Okay. All right. Okay, jumping on Discord. I got a Twitch queue as well as a Discord one. Okay. So I also have a Discord server linked in the description of both my YouTube and Twitch channels. So if you want to go into a bit more detail in terms of a question, please feel free to type it down there. So we got a queue here. Got a question? Hmm. Okay, this is interesting. So we got a question from the Runcible Spoonie herself. All right. So here we go. I'm thinking of getting a wolf cut and changing my style to be a little bit edgier. It's supposed to help me embrace the realities of my body as well as open my heart to a more authentic love. Even if I'm edgy in feel, I also feel like it would be more authentic. To start this off, I'm curious. What would happen if I got a wolf cut? How would it start all the changes I want to see? Hmm, that's a good question. So already, like, I mean, haircuts. I mean, if you're gonna do a change, a haircut's probably one of the best ones to start with because at least if you don't like it, you can grow it out. So, that's one thing. Um, but yeah, with that being said, I mean, let's probably explore the energy of what it would be like to have a wolf cut. Let's see. What kind of spread would work best for this one? Hmm. Oh, excuse me. Hmm. I'm thinking the Jungian Tarot spread would work best for this one. So it's a 5 card one, and it does like 5 different aspects. Shout out to um, Emerald, Emerald Lotus Divination. She did the spread for this one. Um, but yeah, I figured the Jungian Tarot spread would be good for this one, or maybe it was Labyrinthos who came to this one. I'll find the correct credit in a moment, but like essentially, the Jungian Tarot spread I think would be a good one for this because um, it's very much about self expression, and I think especially with this, it's talking about self expression among to be able to bring on a certain parameter or a certain change in your personality or in your life. And style can impact how you see your identity. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Hmm. So we shall see how this wolf cut shifts stuff. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting, like pulling a reading for a possible style choice. This is kind of new to me, I will say. And it's kind of funny that we're talking about style because I mean I have been because um one of the things on my 2026 bingo card is trying a glamorous makeup look. And last year I think yeah, last year, and I think even like it might cross over to this year too. The Zodiac makeup looks have been making the rounds, and there's some aesthetics that just look really nice, and it's kind of funny considering that my cousin, she celebrated her birthday last year, and she did like a makeup look that was very similar to the well, she is a Scorpio, and one of my favorite creators, Miss Darcy, is also a Scorpio, and she did the Scorpio makeup look, and it's like, oh my god, that literally looks like my cousin's makeup look when she did it for her birthday photo shoot. It literally looks exactly the same. It's like she clearly she studied the zodiac sign um makeup. And so I kind of want to try that. Um Whether to try it for my birthday or something else entirely, we'll see. But I just found it really interesting. Okay. Ooh, felt it already. Yeah. Excuse me. Oh, got a bunch here. Okay. Hold on. Dang, perfect five. That was good. Wish I could have seen that. That was like smooth. Okay, that was a perfect five. That was like the perfect fit for, excuse me, the reading. It was like, yeah, good idea. Actually, I can actually do that now because I actually have a camera available now for my phone. So I will take a picture of this for you. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay. And I'll post it after the stream's over. Sound good? Okay. So, Jungian Tarot spread. We got 5 cards here. So first one is persona, which is about perception. So here's a possible interpretation of perception in your wolf cut. So we got. That is so weird. That is so weird. Three of Swords? I don't get it. I really don't. Oh, you know what? You know what? Okay. What I'm feeling with the Three of Swords, I think it's more so about social impression and not like social perception and not so much your perception. Because a lot of times people tend to go through a dramatic change in style if some sort of heartbreak has occurred. And persona, in terms of the Jungian definition, and then also in terms of when you hear the word persona, like the impression you get, it's more so about like what you project. And I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, like in terms of nowadays. Like certainly in like when we were growing up, we often saw haircuts as yeah, yeah, absolutely. So here's another interpretation um you could use for this one. So so the Three of Swords, it typically is about heartbreak. And I mean, social perception again. I mean, sometimes you would often think about like cutting your hair or doing a dramatic hair change as some sort of expression of grief or a transition of some sort. And I think in this case it's more so like it might be more of the question that you might get from the hairdresser for making the decision, not so much you yourself what you're experiencing. On the other hand, considering Three of Swords, it also could be a bit more literal. Like, I mean, I'm thinking about this is the funniest reference that just came to my head. So there's this game called Shenmue, and there's a reference to something called the Three Blades. And the Three Blades, they signify very talented professions that often use blades. And barbers being able to do haircuts, it's considered a blade. Like scissors are considered a blade. And funnily enough, when you look at like those barbershop spirals you see, um it's actually a very ancient reference to medieval history because the red, I believe, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I've read about this, but if I remember my history correctly, the red was often a symbol for medical treatments because red, it was like a reference to like when barbers used to do surgery in addition to hygiene. Um, so it's kind of a double meaning. So like the three blades, and I think the other blades are and cook and either butcher or sailor. Um, but yeah, look up Shenmue and the three blades. Um, those three. Yeah, that was like that's what I was thinking. Um, like there's it's a very Japanese reference, but I just like it just made me like that first card already made me think of that. So for all I know, what I pulled was not one to one, but yeah, hitting persona with that in mind, there might be some questions about the wolf cut, but Yeah, let's see how the rest of it goes, and we'll go from there. Let's just see how the rest of it goes. But yeah, I kind of found it interesting. I was like, Three of Swords? Really? I don't get it. Okay, okay, okay. But yeah, double check that for me. Like double check that fact for me about the barber sign. Because I remember I think the red in particular in the barber sign symbolized something medical, if I remember correctly. Or like at least it was a reference to it. What the blue and the red stripes mean. But I know it's medieval in origin. That much I do remember. Um I feel like it's a reference to that. But anyway, let me continue. So the next card, number two, is about the shadow. This is about hidden aspects, like what's going on underneath. So let's see what we got here. Eight of Cups. She shows up again another time. She really is coming up recently. She came up even in the last Tarot Saturday as well in a different reading. Um, but Eight of Cups. Underneath there's like, I mean, this pretty much showed in the way you asked the question about the wolf cut. Is there's a desire for emotional depth, and in this case, an emotional depth of expression, to be able to try something different, and if anything, express more of a side of your personality that maybe up until this point you kind of had to. I mean, I know you personally, so I guess I have a little bit of advantage here. But maybe there's an aspect of your personality that the wolf cut would make it easier to express, where you kind of had to be more subtle about it, or you couldn't really be as outward with it. Um, best example I can give is like if you're considered if you like Sweet Lolita fashion, the last thing people tend to expect is some sort of rock and roll edge to you. And so, because like people perceive you, the persona is Sweet Lolita, the edge is not really there in your outfits. But then you kind of want to express the edge, even if it's something as simple as a haircut change, because that is a part of you too. That's basically the shadow aspect. And so a change in hair is an opportunity to eventually expand the edge into other areas of your wardrobe or your makeup, etc. And so it's a chance for you to like add more depth than just fitting this textbook definition of what a sweet Lolita should be. It's then at this point sweet Lolita as defined by whoever is wearing it. And if Sweet Lolita in their case has a little bit of edge, then they have a little bit of an edge to it. Case closed. So yeah, I think it's just it's a I feel like it's a chance for you to delve into aspects that maybe you had to put under wraps or get really clever about it. That now you can actually be a bit more outward with it. Because like shadow doesn't necessarily have to be suppressed per se. Shadow could also be underutilized aspects. That it's like this is the appropriate time to pull it out. But then at certain points it might come out. And it's when you don't give the shadow permission. It's when you don't give it a space to express express a statement. It's when you don't really fight back or you shove it in a locker essentially. That's when it becomes dangerous. When you leave it unacknowledged, that's when it becomes dangerous. That's when it's going to pop out in involuntary and unexpected ways. So, yeah, that's what I'm getting here. So, anyway, 3 and 4. So, we've all got this inside of us. Yes, even NBs, and agender people. Um, We got the anima and the animus. So the anima is about the divine feminine and about your expression of happiness. So the anima, we got the Four of Pentacles. Okay. So seeing the dragon guarding treasure, I'm feeling like this is the wolf cut is an expression of you guarding the happiness that you have worked very hard to fulfill and wanting to reclaim a sense of control, a sense of ownership of oneself, especially um, with what you've gone through, which we talked about a lot off camera. Um, Medical experiences, especially, can make you feel like as if sometimes that there's some. I mean, even if you voluntarily go into a procedure, um, there still feels this sense of some sort of. Sometimes it can be a co-creation, but more often than not, it feels like a surrendering of agency or a giving up of agency, a sacrifice or an offering of your agency to someone else, or to a team of someone else's, so to speak. And the wolf cut is taking that agency back. Um, Not from doctors, but basically through a mode of self-expression that is fashion, that is your hairstyle. And hmm, how to put it? It's an acknowledgement of vulnerability in a different sense. Because in this case, you're switching the vulnerability from a medical vulnerability to a style vulnerability. Because now you're offering your vulnerability to somebody who is supposed to be trained to alter a person's appearance. I don't know if I'm making sense. Please feel free to ask me some clarification if you want. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling like also it's a bit of a call for you to really, if you are gonna make this change. I mean, granted, haircuts are an easier change to go for because again, you can grow it out. Um, if you're doing the haircut as a call for agency, make sure that you are going for it with a spirit of openness rather than a sense of resistance to something that you feel like as if you haven't had much influence over. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I feel like I'm talking gibberish now, but it is getting to that. I think it's also because it's getting to that hour when I'm starting to like the streams are crossing, so to speak. um Long story short, basically make sure if you're gonna go through this kind of change, do it with your arms wide and not as a hoarding of control. If that makes any sense. Like you still get control in terms of like how to get the cut done and but get the right stylist to get the cut exactly right, etc. Like in terms of that, yeah, absolutely. You should control that. But then when you show up to that chair, do so in a spirit of openness rather than as like a way of trying to you certainly get back a control that you may have felt that you have lost with the surgery you had to have. I'm hoping I'm making sense. It's I feel like I'm speaking gibberish. Maybe once I get some sleep and I wake up the next morning, I'll be able to explain that more clearly, but that's what I'm getting with this one. But maybe Animus can tell me more. Animus is the divine masculine, and it's about drives and duties. And we've got the high priestess again. Like, I swear I shuffled. She just wants to come out again. I probably need to clean my deck. As well as get some sleep. So for Animus, for drives and duties. Again, even the way that you phrase the question in the Discord, there's a desire to bridge aspects of your personality via your style. And excuse me. Ah, thank you very much. Anyway, let me continue. Really late. I think, did I pronounce that correctly? And it looks French. But anyway, welcome to the stream. Midway through Runcible Spoonie's reading here, we got up to Animus, which is about divine masculine and duties and drives. And I'm feeling that the wolf cut, this is a question to a fashion choice that Runcible Spoonie wants to make. In terms of the wolf cut, I'm feeling the drive for this hairstyle change is a bridge between I feel in the shadow, which is the depth of how you want to express this edge, like the edge that you've been feeling you've wanted to externalize, and wait. Okay, hold on. The wolf cut, in terms of the Animus, I'm feeling, in terms of the high priestess, it is a bridge between the edge that you are expected to express, the persona that I'm seeing here, the edge that you're expected to express, which wolf cuts, I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be emo, but like it almost like, I mean, it's like back in our day, like wolf cuts were kind of emo, especially like if you go for like the heavier makeup too. The thing you're expected to express, and the edge you actually want to express, the edge that you actually do express already in your day-to-day, it's a bridge between the two edges, and even the edge that you personally embody, like you yourself in the middle, bridging these two things, the edge that the edge that you feel like you're expressing, and the edge that is expected to be expressed with the wolf cut. It's bridging these two things in the middle. The drive is that emotional depth that we talked about with the shadow. So I know I feel like I'm talking in circles, but I'm hoping that all makes sense. It's a lot, I know. But hopefully I'm making some sense here. But anyway, finally, we have gotten to the 5th card in the middle, which is about the self. The true self and wants in the middle of all this noise. What is it? The 6 of Wands. And with that laurel, breathe. Excuse me. It's a symbol of victory. Symbol of victory, and a call for you to relish in your triumph of taking a style risk, so to speak. I feel like it's a call for you to give it a go. And also simultaneously, if you are going to give the style a go, make sure you do it for the right reasons. And make sure the style is not for an overcompensation of vulnerability. That's what I'm feeling with this. And more importantly, do not get too lost in the sauce that is fashion makeovers, because changing style can get very addicting. I mean, your wallet will certainly make you sober to the fact after a while. Yeah. I mean, I think it's saying like if you're gonna go for this wolf cut, like go into this with like full knowing that there is gonna be some dramatic change in perception. It's gonna be a dramatic shift, a dramatic change of everything you know, from hair care to just being to just how you're feeling in your hair at that moment. So just calling you to do it with eyes open. Just do the research. Do the research on how you take care of it. Do the research about like people who have done that style, how they styled it from day to day, etc. And then if you still feel like you want to go for it, go all in with full love and full trust. Say yes to your whole chest, etc. I mean, I'm thinking, me personally, outside of these cards, I think it would be a pretty good style evolution for you. But yeah, that's what I got here. And in terms of my Queen Herbie song recommendation, it's a little different. The song is called F Myself, which is a call for you to figure out how to love yourself. And in the case of this song, well, let's just say she loves herself in a very, like, the way that she wants to love herself is a very creative way, so to speak. So give the song a listen, tell me what you think. Tell me what you get from this. But yeah, that's what I got for you. Hope you like it. But anyway, that is what I got for the Runcible Spoonie. Thank you so much for offering your question. I think I might have energy for a short one. I knew I meant to do um, like a general forecast for everyone for this. But yeah, I think energetically, I'm starting to kind of tap out. Of course, I'm glad you tuned in. Thank you so much for watching. Um, but yeah, yeah, I'm feeling my energy starting to tap out a bit, so I think I'm actually gonna end it here because I also am gonna be traveling back to my home base tomorrow. So I think it might be a good idea for me to take some time and go snoo. Um anyway, I wanted to take some time at this point now to um just say thank you. Thank you for all the support. Thank you so much for all of all the support through all of the technical snafus and all of the things that have been coming up just from these past few streams. It's been a lot, but I really appreciate you. Um, Shout out to Lily Late. They just followed me a few moments ago. Thank you so much for tuning in. Um, Shout out to SS66 Speaker for following me yesterday. Shout out to Fasani. I actually tuned into her stream yesterday. I found fantasy stream. That was a lot of fun. I did a raid with a couple of my followers for Twitch. Um, Shout out to Tantalus Studios for recommending Visani to me, as well as subscribing at tier 1 yesterday. That was pretty cool. And thank you so much again for everybody who has followed me up to this point. And also shout out in YouTube to Shiva Lim. Thank you so much for tuning in to my stream as well. I am so happy that you managed to get some questions. I'm wishing you so much luck on the love front. Hope you found what you're looking for. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wind down. I don't know who exactly I can rate. Oh, wait. I think there's one person I might be able to raid here. I'm gonna have to go on Safari to do that. My hopefully my computer can allow me to do this at least. Do my raid. But anyway, I'm gonna conclude the episode here. For those on YouTube, and then for those on Twitch, if you want to join in this raid, there's a creator that I followed for a little bit. His name is Arvin Eleron. He is a he's a DM. He's a D&D DM, dungeon master who's pretty good, as well as a huge supporter and patron of the arts, and libraries and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and start up this raid. So let me see if I can just go to the menu if I can, because I admit I'm still kind of new to this. I'm a little new to trying to do this. Let me see if I can do this. Come on. Let's go to create dashboard. There we go. Okay, got it. Now I'm gonna start my outro. So, for everybody who tends to typically tune in, I typically do gaming as well as tarot. So I play games like Jack and Daxter, The Precursor Legacy, Sonic Mania Plus, Tomb Raider, Fatal Frame, which I will get back to those very, very soon. I just need to make sure that my computer does not collapse in the process while I'm doing those. Thankfully, you all supporting me and following me will make it easier for me to upgrade my equipment to be able to get to that point. So I'm looking forward to that so hard. Feel free to help entertainment workers get through the holidays, the remainder of the holidays. Well, there's not much of a holiday left. It's like 3 days left in terms of like the Abrahamic religions at least, but get through the remainder of winter. Let's be more specific here. Entertainmentcommunity.org, because not everybody's AAA star. Even AAA stars get poor sometimes. See Anna DeVere Smith. And just get involved and contribute to your community if you can. I have a couple of charities that I've linked here. World Central Kitchen and Red Cross are two of them. And the charity of the season that I decided to support is the Sad Girls Club, which is a charity that goes towards affordable therapy for Black, Indigenous, and people of color especially women and femmes who cannot afford those resources. They have group therapy every week, as well as access to being able to go through get mental health outlets at an affordable or discounted rate. Um, so you contribute to them. That makes it easier to put these programs, because last year they had to drop off their programs due to lack of funds. So hopefully we can get them back up to their more regular standard. I've personally used them for about 4 years now, and they have been very helpful in terms of my personal journey to get through the present. So I want to be able to make sure everybody else gets the exact same opportunity. So here's another thing you can find out in terms of like things you can find outside of this channel. I also have a second channel, Theological Otaku, on YouTube, which I am planning on uploading some vlogs and videos on there pretty soon. I also have a Substack where I write articles and thoughts that maybe I dabble a little bit in these streams, but I can go a little bit deeper in writing on Substack, called The Third Nerd, thirdnerd.substack.com. I also do like the New Year's reading that you saw me do earlier before things kind of started collapsing in on itself. I can also do it for you one-on-one on coffee.com/Tonders. I have a New Year's special which will go until February, and then it'll basically be on the shelf until next year. So if you want a New Year's reading, like I just did for myself on camera, check it out on coffee.com/Tonders, and it is pay what you want with a minimum of $15. And pretty soon I will be doing tarot in the website called SpiritualBlossom, which will charge per minute. So again, if you want to do more one-on-one stuff, please feel free to use any of these sites. Once Spiritual Blossom is up, a link will be in the description where you can find me. Finally, this episode was filmed in the lands of the Mascogo, Seminole, Miccosukee, and Timucua indigenous peoples. To learn more, visit native-land.ca. It did change its format recently. You can still go back to the old format of the site, but recently decided to change it into more of a constellation format, which is a little different, but I think it makes a lot more sense considering the history of indigenous peoples, and they don't really do like traditional land barriers. So if anything, the constellation map makes a ton more sense than the old barriers. You can still see the old map, but I think the constellation makes a lot more sense, like philosophically, and especially I'm asking towards my African diasporans. Please contribute to the project if you can. I know we use different terminology. We use ethnic groups, not tribes. But it is basically the same concept, so please contribute when you can. It'll make it a lot easier for our diasporic brothers and sisters and siblings to be able to find their people. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and get some sleep. I certainly need the rest. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me for today's stream. I hope you have an awesome day. And of course, as always, may your heart be your guiding key. Till next time, I will see you in the next stream. And for those who are on Twitch, I will raid Arvin Eleron. And for those on YouTube, I will see you later. Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye. Wish I had some outro music, but don't want my laptop to explode again. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.